What's up, people? Back down on my favourite river, River Waveney, Ayrshire Mill, my favourite venue. Chubtastic. Just got to try and get over the bridge. It's still broken. The EA haven't fixed it yet, so see you in a bit. Right, here we are. Come up to the broken bridge. Fucking, what's up with them? The old EA. Could have done this by now, couldn't they? It's only been 2 years. You can go fishing for the day and you've got to do this sort of shit. This is the same log that I climbed across about 4 or 5 weeks ago when I done my last vlog. And I forgot my head torch and had to do it in the dark. Nearly there. This is great, this is. Little morning workout. Right, yeah, I've got something completely different for you chaps today. No fishing, no rods. And so down at Ayrshire Mill. Now I'm going to head up to the Weir pool. And what I'm going to be talking today about really is watercraft. The most important thing in fishing, whether you're chubbing, carping, anything. Watercraft is absolutely anything, and that's what I'm going to try and show you today. Give away all my secrets. There's 3 sections on this area at Ayrshire Mill that I want to show you and walk through, so I've got a lot of swims to get through today, probably looking at around 20 swims. Right, see people in a bit. Nearly at the Weir pool now. There's a big spinny here, you can cut through that way if you want, but I tend to cut around the fields quicker on the way there. I usually use the Weir pool as my first swim and then start working my way downstream. Cutting through the spinny's good on the way back because there's a couple of 3 nice swims in there that you can drop into, and that's where we're going to be heading in a minute. Just want to say what I'm going to show you now up here. I'm not telling you this is the way you've got to fish, or these are the swims you've got to fish, but this is how I do it, and I've got a lot of experience. Whoop. Under the little electric cable there, stop the old cattle getting out. But yeah, I've caught a lot of big chub over the years from different rivers. Done the Lee, Thames, the Ouse, Waveney, River Gade where I grew up catching chub when I was sort of 10, 11, 12. Right, nearly at the Weir pool now. See you in a minute. Right, here we are, people. Swim number 1, up in the Weir pool. It looks like you've got a large area of water to go at here, and it's not really the case. At the moment, you see this tree hanging over the water there. Do you see that white froth where it's foaming up on the back there? That's where the chub is sitting on the day like today. We're under sort of, probably all fairness, low water levels for this time of year. And we're in the beginning of December now, and probably that is where the chub will be sitting over there. That's the deepest part at the moment. What will happen is when the river starts to flood in probably a couple of 3 weeks, or any time now really, that'll really start pushing through on that far side, and the fish won't feel comfy over there. And what happens is it sort of swirls round and comes back on itself, and you get a nice steady flow coming this way. Literally, well, I can get a little stone and throw it out, literally about there, and that'll run that way. It seems weird, but that's how it is, and that's where the chub then sits. So rather than be fishing in that hard flow where the fish don't want to be, you'll then drop this side and fish through there. So that's swim number 1. I'd expect to bite in there every time. I usually come down, bait this one first, bait the next one, the raft, and then the ledge, which I'm now going to show you. And then that's them 3 baited up, drop back here, quickly get set up, and that's within 10 minutes I had a chance to settle, and then straight in on it, and then start working my way through. Right, let's go. Leave that. So you can see we've walked from the Weir up there already, straight down now to the raft swim. You don't get cold when you chub fishing in the winter. That's full on, moving around all the time, -3, -4. Put a pair of gloves on if your hands get cold, and bobble hat on, and once you've got your 1-piece suit on, you're like toast. Right, coming up to number 2 swim now, the raft. That raft won't be there in a few weeks, or even next week, that rain and flood. Literally we're fishing from about here, this position, sitting back, and this swim changes all the time, every year. Different trees, parts of trees fall down and a new raft gets built, but there's always a raft here. Last year, a big log come across there, and the whole of that was a raft. That only lasted till the middle of December, then that got wiped out by the flood. So there's your raft, and you could go to the back there and fish in that little bit of water, but there's no flow. I'd want to try and get under that little bit there. Can you see what I mean? And just a little swan shot, maybe 2 swan shots, lower it in from here, let it drift underneath there a little bit, and then pull your line back and sit up there, bang, fish number 2. Right, this next swim's right close. These are all my favourite swims, every one of these, but don't worry about that one. It's quite shallow there, and you've already spooked the fish from the raft swim, so you can't have everything, if you know what I mean. So you just leave that one out, and it leaves that safe for fish just to sit in. Right, again here, there's not much to be caught here until we drop down to, this is a cracking swim, this is. Never produces big fish, but always chucks you one. 3-4 pound fish. There, I drop down, I call this the ledge. Now, nice deep run, and if you look down this right hand, it's margin swim. Don't fish the far side, don't fish the middle, straight down this margin all the way. Very easy, armchair swim. And basically, how we're doing it, we're throwing 3-4 lumps of bait in, cheese paste, like I always do, and be baiting probably, say 3 or 4 lumps, but spread out. You know, we want to be that sort of far apart. We don't want to be putting them right on top of each other. And there's another swim. See the tree there, probably about another 5-6 yards. You can jump in there. Don't leave that swim alone. Because what I do, if I don't catch in here straight away, I then cast further down, about another 10 yards again. So I try and keep that whole inside swim just for this swim only, the ledge. And as I walk up, I might throw a few little bits of cheese paste, because these chub are on the move. They travel a good few hundred yards each day, even in -3, -4. So, right, I've just left the ledge swim, and probably good position to show you from here. If you look down, probably missed these 3 little small trees. That big tree. We were somewhere in between that next big tree and the one after that. That's where the ledge is. And if you was to come and fish this bit here, through here now, I could probably flick down to that here and let the chub have this as their own little territory, their home if you like. And there's enough swims to fish all the way through. If you can space yourself out more, it always gives you more options. And I'm going to move up now to this next swim. This is one of my favourite swims. Never produces anything massive, but always probably the most reliable spot on the river, really. And this whole spinny, if you do want to do something different, they're all margin swims, really. And here we are now. You see this one's been fished quite a few times over the years. It's all bashed down, mostly me. And look through here, you can see why it's such a fantastic swim. If you look down to the right there, see all the foliage hanging over, sort of metre and a half, and that bank is undercut as well. Literally, this is just, you can even free line this now because it's still not flowing that hard for this time of year. Unclip your swan shot, just nice little flick, and I always flick out to about a third of the river, sometimes into the middle. Tighten the line and let that just drift around naturally, and I think them chubs see that coming round, and this is a bite every single time. And this is the end of the spinny, really. So we've only really fished 2 at the spinny, one at the start, one at the end, which was obviously the first one was the ledge, and this one, I call this one the orchard tree because it's always got fruit on it. I think they're cooking apples, I think, but you could get one in the middle if you want to, but there's no need to, because you're fishing, always try and fish the best swims you can. So we've done, so far, we've done the Weir pool, we've done the raft, we've done the ledge, and we've done the orchard tree. And this is just standard for me every time. If I'm on a night session, I fish these 4, and I move down like I am now to this next part, which is the end of section 1, really. Then I was just on a nighttime session after work, I'll probably come down and fish these 5, 6, 7 swims. And after I fish the first one, like the Weir pool, I'll rebait and I'll go through them again. And what that does, really, it gives me options. Then I can come through these again and leave the next 2 sections for another night. So I'm not hammering the same old sections all the time, keeping options open. It might be Monday night I'm fishing this bit tonight, Tuesday night I might fish the next section, or you might have anglers down there, so you might want to just stay up here in the daytime. So just please yourself, really, but always thinking about breaking them down into sections to swims. You know where you go and you can move around quick then. And right, see you in a bit. come out of the spinney, and this section here always looks good, and it always has been good. But what's happened is the trees have come down in the storms, and when they come down sometimes they create a nice swim. This time they've created no nice swims, which is unfortunate, and it's virtually killed this little section through here. As you can see, the flow's all weird, it sort of come round. I don't know if you can see that. Just nothing's right, you know what I mean? It's just that's just a mess going through there. Look. But there is one little spot you can fish down the margins, which I'll show you. And basically, you want to be sitting back here. So if we crouch down, you'll be fishing somewhere from about here. Keep your rod up that sort of height. You can sit back, and you'll be fishing down this margin swim here. Again, throw 3 or 4 lumps of cheese paste, let it settle, and that's a bite. As soon as you hook one, you want to be getting your rod, pulling it straight round to your right hand side, just to pull them straight out the snags. You can stop these chub quite easily. They're not strong fish, but they will give a good account of themselves. So that's the only real swim in here that is fishable at the moment, whereas in last year and the year before there's probably 3 or 4 different swims you could have got in here and had a go at. But I'm now going to show you my all-time favourite River Waveney swim at Ayrsham Mill. Arrived at my favourite Waveney swim at Ayrsham Mill, and this one I call the Berry Tree. It's my favourite swim because it's produced me a lot of good fish. It's produced me 2 fish over 6 pounds, at least 4 or 5 over 5, and always good fish of high 4 pound size as well. Well, we're on this side at the moment, is where everyone fishes from, but this is not where I fish it from, so let me show you how I do it. Especially once the river starts to flow through quite hard and you want to try to hold under there. It is a proper easy armchair swim, so let me show you. Back over the bridge. It's a little bit tricky getting through there with your rod and that, but once you're through, I have broken bits down over the last couple of years, so make it a bit easier. And as long as you're quiet coming through here, I've never not had a bite, I don't think, out of here. Even when the river's really running high, it's still a lovely swim. You can just drop an ounce of lead in there just to hold, or here we are, just in here. In fact, I was going to break some of them down a little bit just for next time. I've not actually fished it this year because I don't actually start fishing till early December properly, when most people are packed away. And as you can see, there's no one on the banks again today, so it's better for me. So literally from here, and what I do is I wind me bait, my cheese paste right up to about 2 foot from the rod, and I lower it right out like that, a little flick, and if I can free line I will, and just let that drift under there and just sit back. And again, it's hook and hold, and when I've got one I usually play them to the right here in this little gap here, and I've never lost any here. It's all clean underneath, just some reeds and rushes and that, and it does produce you really good fish. One night me and my mate fished it, I had a 6-1, and he was going to go back in there, so I said, go on, you get back in there. I fancied that for another fish. He'd go, no, he said, you get in there, Dickie, and I had a 5-10 as well. And that's it. So this is my favourite Waveney swim. You can fish from the other side, but fishing it from this side and getting right under here, you can't do it from the other side. You could swing in and make more of a plop in a little gap, but the presentation of getting under there on that left hand side there under them trees that are hanging over there is unreal, really. And so you will get a bite every time. Right, let's move on. Probably what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call that the end of part 1, because I want to get me drone out, get you some drone shots, and just stay tuned. You haven't got to do nothing. Part 2 will load up straight after this one, and I'll take you down to sections 2 and 3 for some more fantastic swims. See you people in a bit.